Hi guys, I'm going to try and make some Stealth Bastard levels, and I thought I'd show you how to do it. Stealth Bastard came out the end of 2011, and they've just released the deluxe version, Stealth Bastard Deluxe, on Steam, and it is pretty great. I had some experience in the other one, so coming into this one it's pretty much unchanged other than new features added, which is pretty awesome. So I could pretty much pick it up and get right into it, which was a lot of fun. And I'm going to show you basically just the basics, just so you guys can get in there and make some cool stuff too and upload the levels. Yeah, so I'm going to try and refrain from doing any keyboard shortcuts, so if I somehow do something that you can't see, write a comment, I'll get back to you and tell you how to do that properly if you can't figure it out. First of all, actually no, I'll start off by giving you some keyboard shortcuts. You can press, it starts off like this, right? And press I to hide the information, which will give you information about whatever you're selecting, and also the complexity of the level. So if it gets too far, then your level's too big and too busy, so you're going to need to delete some things, otherwise it's going to run too slow. And I should point out that even if it's running fine on your computer, you might have a good computer, so it's going to be running crappy for other people, so try and keep that low. Then you've got H, which will hide the help menu. It's got a few shortcuts and controls and stuff. You can browse with that at your own leisure. And then you've got the mouse. I would strongly recommend getting a mouse, not using your laptop keypad, mouse pad, because you want to have the scrolling mouse wheel and left and right click. So first of all, you probably want to right click. This brings up the menu, so you can start a new level. Let's do that. You save as, load, upload. We'll probably get to that at the end. Actually, I'm probably not going to make anything good enough to upload anything, but maybe. Actually, we'll see. So if you haven't played a Stealth Bastard level before, it's made up of all this collision. Let's just keep everything to the grid. Another shortcut, G, hides the grid. Just bear with me. So what you do is you're this little dude running around, you have to get to the exit, just like that. Pretty simple. Less simple when you get enemies, laser beams, buzzsaws, doors, switches, cameras, portals, clones, all sorts of stuff. So, geez, where do I even begin? I don't really have an idea for a level, so I'm just going to wing it and see what happens. Usually something good comes out of it. Another shortcut. The letter O shows an outline of your collision, which will come in handy. You might see an outline showing up over bits of collision, or turning on and off like that as I go. That's just what's happening. I'm just pressing O. And also Control V will duplicate stuff. You don't need to press Control C, Control V, but just Control V will duplicate. When I begin a level, normally I will create a border for the level. Just because when you run it, you will see up the top, my mouse isn't showing, up the top you've got the HUD, which will cover certain parts of the level, and down the bottom as well where it says not visible, that's also going to have a sort of transparent, half transparent bar running down the bottom, so if you've got nothing down there it's going to be covered up, which you don't want. Well, you might want it, but it'll look ugly. Okay, another shortcut, I'm not telling you. We have the mouse wheel. We'll scrolling up and down, we'll make it wider, hold shift and use the mouse wheel again, and it'll make it taller. So I want one for the top of the roof, so I'm going to drag it up there, and then hold shift on this one, use the mouse wheel, pull it up. There you go, got a nice big border. Or you can always select the collision, right click and set width, maybe 128, set height, I don't know, 64, whatever you want, and then these can always be altered with the mouse wheel, which is cool. Another shortcut is snap off the grid and then snap on. You'll see it snaps to the grid. I would highly recommend basically always working with the grid on for starters, and always work with the snap on as well, and always try and keep to the grid, because otherwise your levels are going to get really messy and people won't like them, which would be sad. Shit, I can't delete. I'm running this on a Mac, which also explains the loud buzzing noise you're probably hearing because it's struggling, I think. Oh, I should also point out this game's also not on Mac, it's only on PC, and I'm running Windows on this Mac. Now, if you create anything and put it into the level and select it, you can right click and it brings up all the options for that particular thing. So you can start on or off. So if I run this level, that piece of collision isn't going to show up. Obviously it's not there. If I turn it on, obviously it will be, it will just be part of the level. Collision, you can't interact with it other than standing on it, grabbing onto the corners and all that, but you can't push it around or anything like movable blocks. Then you've got all sorts of things in here which you want to figure out and play around with at your own leisure. You can make it a noisy floor, so if you stand on it, it'll make a noise. Walking on it will also make a noise, but it's quieter, and then jumping off it and landing on it will make a bigger noise than just walking. We'll turn that off. Oh, yeah. Right, yep, right. Collision with moving platforms, I'll get into that later. Activation, if anything in your level is going to be toggling or turning on or off, usually it'll start with, or certain things will start with activation showing. So if someone interacts with it, it'll little arrows will point to it saying that this has just happened. So maybe a door will open, the activation will turn on, and these little arrows will point to it. Try and use those sparingly, because they get really annoying if you've got 100 of those going on often at once. Let's delete that. So, then you've got all your lights. You can play around with these later. You've got radius, which is the size. Again, scroll with the mouse wheel to change that. Color, self-explanatory. Semicircular is good for shadows, if you want to make your own shadows without actually using a shadow caster. I'm going to press Ctrl V here to duplicate this. Make it full, and make this a shadow caster, and then put a block in to show the shadows. This one is not a shadow caster, so it's not going to make that shadow. Where you can, use a non-shadow caster, because it'll keep the frame rate down. You can only have probably 3 of these in at the most at any one time in your level. You can have switches that turn lights on and off at any one time. Try and keep to maybe 3, that's going to keep your frame rate down. But you can have loads of these things, and you can have hundreds of these and the frame rate will be fine. Well, maybe not hundreds, but certainly a few dozen. You got rotation, link to moving platform, all this stuff, probably more advanced. I'll get into that later, maybe, if we get into it. Oh shit. Stupid delete button's not working, so I'm going to have to delete everything manually. Alright, now, if I want to make a level, I wonder what I want. Maybe... first of all, it's too big. Make it nice and small. Don't get tempted to start using all this big stuff. So obviously that's the start position, exit. If you put in I'm going to assume that you've played the game before, so you know how a level will work. Just in case you haven't done that, you put terminals in, you have to somehow get to the terminals, hack all the terminals in a level, they'll open the door, you get to the exit, that's the end of the level. So if I put this here, I'll show you that quickly. So that's basically a finished level, but it's kind of boring. So what I might want to do to spruce it up a little bit, maybe chuck in some enemies, and put a robot in. We'll have him guarding our little terminal there. And let's put a light in so he can see us, because if we go up there and there's no light, he won't spot us unless he walks into us, and that'll be a bit too easy. Let's actually make this nice and big so we've got lots of light. That's what we want. And some shadows. So you might want to have a nice shadow down there, just whether it be for looks or for gameplay. Doesn't really matter, but say if you want to just fill out the rest of the level, this would be a good way, good time to put in a non-shadow caster over here, because it doesn't matter. You don't want to casting shadows, you just want it to fill in the light. This one over here, it's a good place to have this shadow down here. Maybe you also want to provide some cover for yourself. So if you want this to be in the light, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not for now, but oh shit. Okay, so that's that. Now I'm going to show you how to make a moving platform. Make a bit of collision. Select make moving platform, and that's that. Let's put this there, and maybe this over here. Let's make some more collision. Okay, so this is why you want to stick to the grid, because that's going to arrive there, and you want these two bits to line up, because I'm thinking maybe we'll have actually a door here. Let's go over here. There's my light hidden behind the collision. You can press L and you've got all your layers up here. You turn it on and off by just pressing L. So if I want to say hide all of the collision, you can see here it's number 1. If I just press number 1, all the collision will disappear. The moving block is now turned into a moving platform. So that's not part of collision anymore. That is moving platforms. You can see here number 8. So if I press number 8, that's going to disappear. Manually still showing the shadows. So let's just. So now I'll be able to jump up to there, and then over to here, and then over to here. But this door is blocking off this, and this guy is in the way. So we have two problems that we need to overcome. What I'm thinking is if we get a pressure switch, put that there, and then we can link object 1 and click on the door. So now when that pressure switch is pressed, the door will open. Let's just test that it's working. Yep, and there's those activation cues that you want to turn off. So we can lock him in there. That's not going to help us though. Let's put this over here. There we go. Now the problem is the robot is never going to walk onto that platform because it's moving. So what we can do is, all the moving platforms have these nodes, so it's going to start here, hit this one, and then reverse, go back to where it began. If we Oh, what did I just do? Oh shit, just made it noisy. We don't want that. If I start the first node off, just wait for it to finish. There. So now when I start the level, it's just going to be stop there waiting for the node to be turned on by something. That something is probably going to be a switch, I think. Let's put this down here. Right click on the switch, link object 1 to the node, not the moving platform. The node. You have to be careful what you're assigning things to, because you run into problems if you're trying to link it to the node and you hit the platform itself and you're not turning the node on. All you'll be doing is turning the platform off, and then when you run the level, hit the switch, nothing's going to happen. So that can be confusing. Now, this node also is on at the moment, so when the platform hits there, it's just going to stop and come back. So we'll also turn that off. So once it comes up to here, it's going to stop. Problem is, this is off as well, so if you come up here and press the switch, that'll turn on and it'll move over here and stop to here. So what we also want to do is link object 2 to this node. So both nodes are off at the moment. If you flip the switch, it'll turn both nodes on, so the platform will start moving back and forth. To speed things up, I'm going to set I didn't click the node then. The node will give you options starting on and off, make the platform noisy, turn the activation queue off. We don't show that. You can put in another node if you want, but we don't want that at the moment. You can change the pause time, which is nice. It's in frames, so you can make the pause time there 60 frames, which will be 1 second. But actually, think about it now, we don't want that. Maybe I'll show you later. Actually, I'll show you that right now. Really quickly. I'm going to go no, I'm not. I'm going to... See there, I accidentally clicked in between. I just got the main menu. I want to select the platform node, right click on the platform node and set pause time to 60. So it's going to hit that, pause for 60 frames, come back. This one doesn't have anything, so it's just going to bounce right back. And then you can also add a node to the path. That one must have a pause on it as well, so it's going to go pause, off again, etc. Now to delete a moving platform, you have to select not the node, but the platform itself. Right click. What the and delete that node. Shit, I can't delete it. My delete button's not working. Okay, well. Yeah, what pain in the ass. Oh, make static platform. There we go. And then we'll delete that. Okay, where were we? So I want to make this. It's going at 0.5. Let's make it go at 2. Speed of 2. Now, just run this to explain things a little bit better. I've never made a movie like this before as well, by the way, so I may not be the best teacher, but... So when we flip that switch, both nodes turn on, so the platform's just going to be going crazy back and forth until we turn it off again, and both nodes will turn off, so it'll stop. So if I press it, and then press it while it's on its way back, that node there will turn off, so it's going to stop at the next one that it hits, basically. So doing this, wait for the robot to come over, turn it on, turn it off, and he's going to do that. He's going to press it down for us, which is good, except I want him to stay on it. So when he's on the switch, I'm going to move that back and block the door. Now, I've just realised this is a shit level because I can't get over there without him seeing us. So, what else could we use? You know what? Let's make it even more hard for us to get over. I'm going going to set the rotation straight down. Lasers will kill only us, not the robots. And then, oh jeez, maybe portals. Portals are fun to use. Now, for everything that can rotate, you can set rotation, set whatever you want. Rotate clockwise, blah blah blah. Or to make things faster, press R to rotate. You can see it's spinning around on its axis there. And then laser beam as well, press R, and you can rotate to whatever you want. So now let's make some portals. I'm going to go Control V to duplicate. Control V again. R to rotate. Put this up here. Put that there. And just like with the switch, you want to link. You can link and also unlink. Also important. Link certain objects to other objects. With the portals, you can set target portal to this one here. Same with this. Set target portal up to here. So now this one will go to there, this one will go to there. So now if I go into these ones, that's not on the grid, I'll come out here. But these ones haven't been linked to anything, so if I try and go back through, nothing will happen. So I'm going to set these ones over to here. Now let's run it. Let's just check out these portals. Ooh, well, they worked, but that wasn't ideal. So you know what? I think we can beat this level. Let's get our robot on the platform. Oh, he's stuck there. Oh fuck. That's too hard. Well, I'm going to give the robot a pause time of 60 frames, so 1 second. So he's pausing at the end of his route. And now let's give it a go. Actually, you know what? That switch isn't working for me. I'm going to turn this node on, so this one's off and this one's on, and then this switch is linked to both, so when I hit this switch, that node will turn on, sending the platform off, but this node will turn off, so when it gets there it'll stop, which is good for this reason. I can just run along, I can press it once and it'll stop over there, and press it again and it'll stop at the next one. Yeah? That's a professional moving platform right there. Now that this robot is pausing, I can jump up when he's looking the other way and have enough time to get through. I can hack my terminal. If I go through when he's looking, he's going to see me, I'm going to come through, and there we go. Awesome. So that's really it. There's loads more things you can fool around with and check out. All these different lights. You got sunlight, which it's pretty crazy. You got these cool decorative lights, which you want to put underneath your switches. Duplicate that. Just to, alert the player that there's something there that's important. Put this up here. Again, everything here has its own properties. You can change the color. Yep. Every single object has its own properties. Even this thing, you can turn the light off. Bugging me. So yeah, I would encourage you all to just have a play around with everything. You've got all these different bad guys. These guys are really fun. Got these buzzsaws, Using the mouse wheel you can make them bigger and smaller. If you touch them you'll die. Doors, obviously one of those. Switches, toggle switches on and off. Pressure switches do the same thing as switches, only you have to have something holding it down, so you might get one of these things. And when I run the level that'll fall, and I hold this down which will open the door. See that happen really quickly? Alternatively you can hold it just off to the edge and push it across if you can, and that'll hold it down. What else? Portals, containment fields, all this stuff's in the main game. Basically, if you get the game, play the levels, you'll see how they all work. You've got your projections. You can set custom text. So you go, hello, and that's there. You can make them bigger. You can start them off. You can make it so that when if we link this object 3, because we've used 2 already, you can have them turn on, turn off, turn on, turn off. Timers, they will automatically, it's like a switch that an invisible person is constantly turning on and off. All this stuff's pretty complicated. You've got checkpoint triggers, camera triggers, they'll push the camera in certain directions. You've got all this fun stuff that you can fiddle around with yourself. Here you can change the level width and height, which is good, but I would recommend starting on smaller levels. Down here you can move everything in one direction, move everything in the other. Use negative values to go back the other way. Check player visibility, that's handy for showing where your character is invisible or not. So in the shadows not visible, in the grey areas partially visible, obviously right next to light very visible. And then one last thing, if you press tab and hold you get the tiles. So I can click and drag and put tiles up like this. Just clicking left click to place them down. If I cover them up it'll overwrite. That looks pretty lame. Again, I can't delete. That's annoying. What are some good rules? I would put white over things that are important. So they stand out. And then darker colours. Oh shit. I screwed that up. You can hold shift and click on something to copy that tile. And then you can paste that down again. What was I saying? Normally when I make a level I'll tile the the backgrounds whatever colour, but then make the important things, put a light, a background on it, maybe chuck a light underneath it as well, just to make it really obvious so the player sees that that's something important over there. So that's pressing tab to bring this up, and then you use the mouse wheel up and you've got all these different tile sets. In the first game they just had this one, now they've got all these different things, so you put rocks in. Oh, this is now an underground tavern. See, tavern? I think I meant cavern. And you got all this cool stuff. I'll let you fiddle around, find all these cool things. These grass tiles are particularly cool. In the interest of time, I'm not going to make this look very good. And then, using the mouse wheel again to get this, you've got rear and front, so then I can, I don't know, get a sign that shows up over this. So I've got 3 layers, the background, the grassy tile, and then this poster tile. Actually, I don't think I explained that properly. Normally you've just got right click, you've got the menu, left click select things. If I press tab, left click is going to paste tiles, which at the moment I don't have. Hold right click to bring them up, scroll up on the mouse wheel to bring up your selection. Press left click on whichever one you want. Hold right click again, and then you've got the ones that you've selected, and then you left click and drag to select whichever tile you want. And then with left click again, you're pasting them. My crappy explanation probably isn't very good, but it is quite easy to use. And there's our level. So you can upload that to the server if you want, you can save it. Let's call it practice. There you go. And then, yeah, that's really it. If you've got any questions, just write a little comment down there and I'll answer that as best I can. And have a lot of fun.